I've been making videos online for over 5 years now. I mean, probably more than that. And every single time that I have to make a video is as though I go through this whole phase of, should I be making this video? Am I qualified to make this video? Do I have what it takes to make the video? Is my camera looking good? And all these things. And last night when I went to bed, this idea just dropped into my spirit to essentially fight the process, fight the fear of creating videos by creating videos. What I mean by that is I want to rebrand my content. I think I've already begun the process. And so I took this course, the Content Operating System by Justin Welsh, and I have a lot of actionable steps. I even created a calendar. I already know the first 4 videos. In fact, I know the first 102 videos that I need to make. But now the problem is, in the past, this is what usually happens. I would come up with a plan like this. I would figure out the ideas and write things down, write scripts. I may even go as far as filming the video, but it would never see the light of day. I have a bunch of drafts in my computer that are just ended like that. I filmed the video, had the idea and everything, and it just stops. And it keeps happening over and over and over again. And as the year is ending, this is November and next month is December, there's always this wonderful time for me, at least, where I get to reflect on the year and see things and also plan for next year, plan for 2025. And as I've been praying and thinking like, God, how do I use my gifts to serve you? Because that's a promise that I made. That's a covenant that I have. How do I continuously know that I'm improving in my skills and I'm growing? But most importantly, I'm actually bringing people to Jesus one way or the other. And so the idea that came to my mind is like, bro, I mean, that's not how God speaks, but it's mostly the thought of, why don't you actually go online, explain this process, and learn as you're learning it, because there will never be a time when you'll be ready. Let me actually really backtrack. So essentially, I have a content plan, a content calendar, a detailed social media content schedule, loose scripts that I can use to just riff off the ideas, because I noticed that when I write scripts, I tend to usually get stuck. When I use a teleprompter, it's not as smooth as I want. So I've been experimenting a lot. But one of the things that I want to talk about really right now is the importance of having a personal philosophy. What is that? When we're born, right, our parents tell us what to do. Our parents essentially guide us. Our guardians, parents, uncles, grandparents, whoever raises you tends to inscribe upon you their own ideals of the world, their religion, their faith, their views on money, their views on friendship, their views on family. You basically download a lot of this from these people. Then there comes a time, I don't know if it's, adolescence or going to college, whatever it is, when you start questioning some of these things that the people are talking about. And the questioning usually can be met with, how dare you go against what I've taught you? Or sometimes it can be encouraged. Their parents will tell you, they discuss with you, they bring it up and want to share with you for you to understand. In my case, it's taken me a long while to get to this point of developing a personal philosophy. And I think one of the best ways to look, if you have a personal philosophy, is to look back at your life and ask a simple question. Have you always done what everybody told you to do? Or have there been times when you've done what you wanted to do and felt no guilt, no remorse whatsoever? And I'll put an asterisk, a big asterisk here. I'm not talking about people who have mental issues. I'm not talking about people who are narcissists. I'm talking about people who have clearly decided that they're going to destroy other people in their life. No, I'm talking about the majority of people who are mainly healthy people who can reflect and self-reflect. And even as I'm talking, that's one of the areas I want to talk about, the self-reflection part, the self-awareness part. But going back to personal philosophy, one of my personal philosophies, I think, from what I've observed, my conversations with people, my interactions, my writing, is this idea that self-awareness is very paramount to success in life in general. I've talked about this enough for me to realize that I really believe that. I really believe that it's very important for you to know who you are, for you to be aware of how you present yourself in the world, for you to be aware of how you affect other people, for you to be aware of what you believe in, your values. So I guess one of my personal philosophies is to be aware of your personal philosophy, which, it can be circular or anything. But bottom line is this: being aware of that personal philosophy has given me, I would say, a head start in a lot of my problems. One of my big problems is my inability to follow through with ideas. Ideas. That's one of my big problems, is that I have all of these ideas. I have all these, cool, really cool things. I'll write some of them down. I'll put some of the things in. But I always find a way somehow to not get through with it. And when I look back to my previous relationships, even my marriage that failed and jobs and all that, that has been a big thing. Now, I have been able to somewhat reduce that impact over life by finding ways to work around it. Some people call it ADD, ADHD. It may or may not be true. But I'm very careful about giving a thing a name because, give a dog a bad name and hang it. The idea that when you call something, words are spirit, when you label something a certain way, there's a very high likelihood that the thing will manifest itself in the way that it's been labeled. So I am intentionally avoiding the label that I know that may be true. So it's still a work in progress, because the fact that I'm not saying it doesn't mean I'm not thinking about it, because your thoughts are very powerful. Let me not silence myself, which is another thing that you'll notice, is that I can go all over the place and talk about a lot of things. But here I am, this morning or last night, thinking about the YouTube channel, thinking about the content, having this plan and realizing that if I'm not careful, if I don't change something now, what has happened before will happen again, which is that I will have this bank of ideas, this bank of videos that will never see the light of day. And so what did I come up with? What was the solution that popped in my heart is, why don't you practice in public and fix one thing at a time? By that I mean, many people are not going to watch this video. I've essentially removed the idea that, bro, you're not going to get views on this video. Like, forget about getting views. Don't even think about it. Just focus. What is one thing that you can use this video to do? What is one thing that you can use this video to do? That's like, what is one thing that you can use this video to do? And the one thing that I came up with is, I want to be able to show up and talk about an idea whenever I feel like it. That's it. Now, 1B, because I find it difficult to do just one thing, just by my nature, I tend to want to do a lot of things. It's like, okay, this is a priority. Now, 1B is learn how to do better thumbnails. That's it. Learn how to do better thumbnails. So this video is going to be an exercise. This and the following subsequent videos, there's going to be a bunch of videos just like this, where it's just me talking. There will be some editing. I'm not going to make any promises. But the biggest thing here is that I want to show up and I want to talk about an idea and I want to leave and I want to make sure that whatever it is that I had in my heart to share, I've shared it. And whether people click, watch 10 seconds and disappear, doesn't matter. Now, is it painful for me to say that? Yes, I want people to watch my videos. I want people to click. I said in a couple of videos ago that I want to get 1 million subscribers. I don't know I'm going to do it. The path to the 1 million subscribers begins with 1 subscriber. But also, it also continues with the 6,000 plus subscribers who are here right now. So another part of my personal philosophy is to be able to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. It's why I have a hard time with people who complain in general, because I almost always find a solution, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. I am hardly ever stuck in my life. Even when I was stuck, I knew why I was stuck. And sometimes it's because I refused to get myself out of a situation. God has blessed me with the ability to think a lot. Like my baseline, my baseline, and I'm discovering this a lot as I marry my wife and we talk on a regular basis, is I am almost always thinking about multiple things at a time, and it's fine. Like I'm okay. I'm not confused. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. I'm not lost. Ideas just come easy to me. And it also goes back to one of my personal philosophies, which the list is growing longer this time around, is that you have a gift. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a story. Everybody has something that God has put in their heart that they are really good at compared to the rest of the world. And it's our job to make sure that we make use of that thing while we are still alive. And so the next series of videos, at least for the rest of 2024, are going to be similar to this. It's going to be conversation that goes in multiple directions, because that's how my brain works. But long term, what I'm working on is to execute that content calendar, is to come in a way that is a lot more structured, in a way that is a lot more intentional. Why do I want to do that, even though I know that this will be a format that works for me best? It's because I want structure in my life. The idea of ideas is great. The idea of being able to have potential is great. But potential is only that. It's just potential. If potential never turns into kinetic, I don't know if I can say that, it's wasted. It's wasted. I've been watching a lot of videos in general. Like I just watch videos. And one of the people that I watch almost regularly now is Dr. Tchassa. And I watched a video yesterday where he said something about where will you be in 10 years? I mean, I'd seen and heard this thing multiple times, but it was really interesting to think about that. Like in 10 years, I'm going to be what? 44. I turn 35 next year. In 10 years, where do I want to be? What will my life look like? What are my goals? Will I still be paying a mortgage? Should I be able to, what will my, so essentially, the question he was asking that I think you should ask yourself, which is part of what drives me to realize that I cannot afford to keep making the same mistakes. I cannot afford to keep, just wasting. And by wasting, it's not that you're sleeping in bed and doing nothing. You can waste by working a job that pays you well. You can waste by being in a relationship that is sort of okay. You can waste by working very hard at the wrong thing. So by waste, I think it's easy to think that when somebody is lazy, they are wasting their life. There are people who are lazy, who are doing very well, who are very good. Like they are living an exceptional life and they choose to be lazy. And you might only see them when they are lazy. So the question about where you'll be in 10 years and how you're using your time is a very personal question. It's a very personal reflection because only you would know if what everybody is telling you is true or not. Only you would know if you're wasting your life or not. Only you would know if you're in the right career path, if you're creating the right kind of content, if you're with the right kind of people. Somebody might observe and have discernment and insight to give you feedback, but you know where God is sending you. I mean, I'm hoping you do. If you don't, then first thing you need to do is to find Jesus and figure out what he wants you to do. Then now start listening to feedback and advice and watching people on the internet talking about personal philosophies. So bottom line is this. And this video is 30 minutes, great. Bottom line is this. I've been struggling to make videos and I've created a lot of ideas and put a lot of banks and have all these things online in my computer that I've not made out. And so while I'm building that content calendar, while I'm building that structure, while I'm rebranding in this direction that I've picked, which I think you're really going to like it, I'm still going to show up on a regular basis, share these ideas, and know that I'm working on one thing, which is share the idea, fix your thumbnail. Now, when I finish that, when I have, for example, a brand color, the kind of thumbnail that I want for this particular period of my life, then I can now look for the next thing. Okay, yes, don't just share the idea, but build your hook. Have a proper hook that you can get people to watch a video, and then add the thumbnail and then add the idea. So it's about incremental improvement, about improving what I'm doing in a structure that is intentional, not just showing up once a week, disappearing for 3 months, which, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you just can't. But I have found that when you plan your life, when you're intentional with what you want to do and where you want to go, God has a way of making your time expand. I'm off today. I've been off for the past 3 days. We have some things, errands to do and all that, but I've been waking up even earlier now because I get to work on the things that I know give me the energy to do my day job. And so I'm just going to end with this. What is your personal philosophy? What is something that you believe to be true, no matter who says that it's not true? What is an idea, an ideal that you live by, that you stand by? You don't have to write in the comments. You don't have to answer this question, but think about your life. Think about where you want to be in 10 years. Think about the kind of life that you would like to live, the ideal day. Or if you can't think of the ideal day, then do what Dan Cole calls the anti-vision. Think of the worst possible scenario. Think of the life that you don't want. Think of the job that you don't want. Think of the body that you don't want. Think of the income that you don't want. And then now work to avoid that. Because sometimes you may not be able to picture the life that you want, but if you can picture the life that you don't want, it's so easy to reverse engineer that to the life that you want. I know I've been talking for a bit. You don't even know my name, but if you stick around, you probably know it. If you like this, like it, stick around. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.